behind the Danny Awards, Maura and I, the incredible Naomh McElhatton.
Oh my God. No pressure. So I played football till I was 29. Was completely useless at it. Actually did play football till I was 29, and I was completely useless at it. They used to say girls from the country that played Gav was great because he kept the fat off them. That's why they said I was going to play football. So folks, my story today is slightly different from Angela's amazing story, and I didn't know half of that, and I read up and stuff, and it's just kind of blown my mind, as I know it has a lot of people in the room, because we take it for granted that so many of us from this lovely little place called Northern Ireland can achieve so much. And it's only, I suppose, through my own development over the last year in particular that I have begun to accept and appreciate everything that I have achieved. And that is very hard to recognise because we're so critical of ourselves. We're afraid to say, well, bloody done, you work hard, you know, and those things are things that I have learned to say, you know, and when your 10-year-old is saying, Mummy, close the laptop, you have bags under your eyes. I think that's a sure sign of putting your feet, or being where your feet are. And I get that quite regularly because I do put a lot of hours in to trying to build this business. So I want to take you on a little journey of my story to date and where it all began as, I suppose, if you want to use the word, the entrepreneur, or as my journey of self-employment. I've had many's a great job, but I always knew myself that I was going to be my own boss. My mother would have told you that when I was about 2 years of age. She would have said, Arnie, she's her own mind, she's going to do whatever she wants to do, and that's just it. And I knew that I was going to have my own business. I just didn't know what it was going to be in. And in actual fact, I studied in Trinity for a year, did theatre studies, because I thought this was really cool. And then I realised very quickly that I was either going to be a waitress actress or working in a bar. So I left, and my best friend was going to Strawberry Hill to do teaching. And I thought, God, that sounds quite good. I'll do a bit of the old teaching then, because we've been friends for so long. So I went to Strawberry Hill in Twickenham to do teaching, and absolutely hated it. And left and started selling classified ads for a newspaper when I was 19. And let's just say the rest is history. So it's only when these two little munchkins came into my life that I really learnt what mental resilience is about. I was very selfish until I had Miss Eilish and Miss Aoife Lilly, and they taught me what it was to be mentally resilient. At this particular point in time, my husband was out of work. We had 2 mortgages, 2 kids under 2, and I was on maternity leave and wasn't actually getting any maternity pay. So I decided when this little toot here was 5 days old that I was going to start my own company. This is a true story. And I remember the day as clear as I am standing in front of you now. I had Eilish in my arms. Aoife Lilly was wearing an orange t-shirt and a nappy. It was summer, it was in the middle of June, it was actually around this time of year. And she was in a nappy with a blue dodo in her mouth. I was holding Eilish, and Michael was in his work clothes in the frame of the kitchen door. And I just got the letter through from my previous employer that I wasn't entitled to any maternity leave. We had no money. Michael was out of work. And I thought, how am I going to tell him? Nada. So I folded that little piece of paper and didn't say anything. And I said, right. So I looked at Michael and I said, I'm going to start my own company. He says, no problem, love, you do whatever you want to do. Because I literally thought I was postnatal crazy, honestly. So I went to an investor here who's a very good friend of mine, who's a VC. And I said to him, would you meet me? I said, and help me do this thing called a business plan. Because Invest and I will give me money to start a business because I have a business plan. And I didn't know what an executive summary was, didn't know what P&L meant, didn't know even what the whole business proposition was, but I knew from my previous role I was on to something. So anyway, we thrashed it out and we had a look at figures, what it would take to run, how many staff we needed, when we invoiced, when would we actually making money. So we figured it all out, and it was really cliche, but it was in the back of a napkin, and I still have the napkin. And so I said, will you help me? And he says, no. But he said, actually, I'll pick up the tab. And he gave me the seed investment to get started. And the first company was created. And this is my first company. This is Digital Advertising Northern Ireland. And Danny started, it was an online advertising network whereby we generated advertising revenue for high traffic websites. So we thought this was brilliant, first to market, really cutting edge. And it's only now I realise that. At the time, we're in the middle of it. It was no big deal. But in actual fact, this was the first. And I never give myself any credit for that. So lo and behold, anyway, we thought we were great. 6 of us in a wee office in Primroy in County Tyrone doing this cutting edge. Hello, Ryan. Doing this cutting edge stuff from Toon. And so very quickly we started to get a bit of awareness about this business. But then this business called Google Display Network really came into the marketplace. And to be completely honest, Google is so much more targeted, so much more efficient, and our publishers didn't have the capacity to deal with what they could offer. So literally in a very short space of time, my entire business model was wiped out and we did not have a business. So we had to think very quickly, what were the problems? And the problems were businesses weren't actually ready to advertise on websites because they mightn't, believe it or not, have had a Facebook page, they might have had a website, they didn't actually have anywhere to drive their business to. So I said, hold on, let's take stock of this. The problem is these people need websites. They need people to teach them how to build a Facebook page. Let's do that. So overnight, we literally created this brand called Rua. And Rua Digital was a full-service digital marketing agency that complemented Danny. So the two worked side by side. And in this time, we had did the Intertrade Ireland Seacorn competition. And we'd been regional finalists twice. And at this stage, there were 6 girls working in the office with myself. And we went for the pitch. And I'm always like, I want to learn. I want to know why, like, why does something not work? You know, really question everything and second guess and everything else. And when we asked for feedback on why we didn't win, we got 3 amazing pieces of constructive criticism. The first one was that we looked like a girl band. The second one was that there was no growth or scalability in what we wanted to do. And the third one was that I should consider a career in PR. So if I wanted a career in PR, funny enough, I would have gone down that road. So being a typical thick little redhead from Tyrone, I decided that I would not be defeated. So no growth and scalability, is there not, right? In 2013, I was back reliving my youth in Twickenham, actually at Richmond, at Ham Polo Club of all places, having lunch with friends. And long story short, I used to work at the Polo Club as a weekend job and ran into people I hadn't seen in like 10 years. So we got chatting, and what do you do, and this is what I do, and blah, blah, blah. You could help us. I said, could I? Do you ever do any digital marketing training? Absolutely. All the time. So would you be interested in coming over and working with our team in London here? Of course. Google. So of course I created my first training module at that particular time. So anyway, over to London Big Naomh goes to deliver her digital marketing training. That's great. Did that for 3 months. Then I get a message, Naomh, I'm really sorry, but we are closing the office here and we're relocating to Dubai. Is there any chance that you'd maybe come and deliver that same training to our team in Dubai? Well, if I must. So all expenses paid, Big Naomh heads out to Dubai to deliver digital marketing training. So this is all looking very glamorous, and I'm flying business class, and I'm thinking, this is unreal. This is one of these moments that you're going to write about this in your book. Meanwhile, at home, the shit has fallen out of everything. The business is wiped up. My entire life has collapsed. Everything happened, and we were going insolvent. So I thought, right, this is going to be a test of my mental resilience right now. How am I going to get through this? So literally everything fell apart. Personal life fell apart, business fell apart. Everything that you could have imagined happened. And when I was sitting around with a fabulous insolvency practitioner in Belfast and blubbing my eyes out, and he wasn't used to like women crying in his office. And he literally, I'll not mention his name, but I remember him looking around and he went onto the table, and you know those industrial rolls of blue? This is what he handed me. And believe me, I am an ugly crier. So here I am, blubbing into this blue paper, thinking everything I have invested, like I sacrificed so much in this business, I became quite selfish. So everything I had was just whooshed, overnight, gone. So I think, this, what am I going to do? Like, my life is over. Like, it's over. So opportunity presents itself. I was starting to gain a little bit of traction in the Middle East. I said, you know what? I need to have manners and respect for the businesses that we work with here. I need to keep my head down, get out of their sight. You know, I wasn't impressed. I was totally, absolutely ruined at this stage of the game. It wasn't easy, and there's many a story I could tell you about going on the lash that particular time. And I decided I'm just going to be cute about this. And I did a bit of lecturing, and I'm going to focus my time in the Middle East. So I started to travel quite a lot to Dubai. And I set up as a limited company, an incorporated company in Dubai in 2014. And very quickly, we started to get a bit of recognition in the marketplace. We were very fortunate to work with networks like the Irish Business Network, the British Business Council, and they started to see what we were doing, so we started to generate a bit of work. Long story short then, after a few conversations, I'm going to come back to the slide in a minute, this company, House of Comms, were a traditional PR agency, and they approached me to see if I would be interested in merging with their business to give them a digital arm to their company. Of course, I grasped it with both hands. So we merged the company in the Middle East and became House of Comms. So meanwhile, this is great, this is all shining star stuff, and this is my little bubble that I escaped to. But meanwhile, how do I go back in this, Ross?
Just the arrow key, the other way.
There we go. Meanwhile, I was dealing with a lot of crap at home. So I thought to myself, how am I actually going to deal with this? Because my kids are here, I can't take them out of the country. You know, I need to look after them. They're everything that I've built this for. So I did an actual mental resilience course, 6 weeks, and it was by far the best thing I've ever done in my life. I question myself on everything that I do. I'm not capable, I'm not worthy, this is not really my life. You know, when we had the Danny Awards this year, it was like an outer body experience, because it wasn't like, I didn't do this. You know, it's not me. Because we all suffer with a little bit of imposter syndrome, thinking that we are something we're not. And in actual fact, it takes guts to say, I did do this. You know, we have worked endlessly and tirelessly to get this up. So I did this course. And when I am challenged, and I'm going to share this with you because I think this is the best thing that I ever took away from this particular course, was when we are faced with difficult challenges, and it doesn't matter if it's in business or if it's personal or whatever it is, or am I doing the right thing, because you're confronted with that quite a lot. There was this, I suppose, exercise. So what they did is they had 3 pieces of paper, and on those 3 pieces of paper there was hero, there was mentor, and there was trusted friend. So here I am thinking, right, should I grow the business in the Middle East? Should I try and maybe grow the business back here? What am I doing? So what you do is you take yourself out and you stand in front of your trusted friend and you think of who is your most trusted, reliable friend. And mine is the one that I went to Strawberry Hill with and followed her for the crack. And I said, what would Lisa say if I asked her this question? And then Lisa's answer comes to me. Right, I've noted that. Then you go to your mentor. What would my mentor say if I said, I'm going to do this? Because the first thing my mentor said to me is, Naomh, kiddo, you have the concentration span of a newt. So this is the constructive criticism. So this is, I really know what he's going to say to me. So I have already processed what my mentor is likely to say. So I stand there and I process that now. And then I go to my hero. And I say, if I was to ask my hero this question, what would they say? And you all know in the room, they're going to say, go for it. What have you got to lose? You have nothing to lose here, right? Literally, when you've lost everything, the only way is up. So if you see me sometime around Belfast just standing there looking into the sky, I'm probably trying to apply this or to think about, am I really about to do this? What would Lisa say? And it is, and it becomes that exercise where you no longer doubt yourself and you think, you know what, I can do this. I can do this. If somebody else can do it, why can't I do it? If somebody else can build an empire, why can't I build an empire? And this is the way I think. If they can do it, and it's taken me a long time to get to this point, but having, built the sandcastle and then somebody come and kicked it down, I am building my sandcastle again. So that is probably the best trick of that course that we learned. So this is my new baby, and believe it or not, this is about to get wiped out, and we're about to add Ireland to this because we're about to expand. And this is totally random, right, how this brand came about. So I'd come home from Dubai, still I flew out to Dubai every month and did do until December past for 4.5 years, and had a fabulous time working as the Director of Digital Education with House of Combs. An absolute experience that I will never take for granted. I got to work with Dior, I wrote a training program for Emirates Airlines. Like, my portfolio of clients that I've worked for now is literally phenomenal. And I never take that for granted. So anyway, trying to figure out how I was going to build a brand back here in Northern Ireland, because travelling's tiring. People think it's very glamorous. It's not. It's smelly airports, it's jet lag, it's stuffy, overheated hotel rooms, it's crap food that gives you food poisoning and you end up in hospital sick, right? That's another story for another day. So, it's not. So, friends of mine worked in retail, and everybody is looking for that $1 million answer. How are we going to survive? Like, high street retail is dead, how do we drive our business online, blah, 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 all these issues all the time. I thought, God, maybe we should look at providing a solution to this problem. What do retailers need? What's the problem? How do they be smart? We need to look at social marketing. What else is really important? And analytics, like, are they really, and how do they reward their customers? And what technology do they use? I've just gone social marketing, analytics, rewards, technology. Ah, that spells smart. Smart retail. Smart. That was driving my kids out to school, right? Smart and I. That's a bloody good name. That's free. I literally got home that day and I went on to GoDaddy and I said, is Smart NI free? No, it wasn't. It's Smart NI. They give it various extensions. smartni.online. I thought we'll just take that in the bag and we'll see how that goes. Now you've thought about growth and scalability, because go back to seed corn, where else do you want to go? Well, we'll take Smart Ireland, we'll take Smart Scotland, and we'll put those into the kit bag too. So that's what we did. So we created Smart Retail, which is an event that happened last year. And this is great, and all of my conferences, I expect them to be like Wembley Arena, and I expect to fill them, right? So, of course, the first retail event, we pulled out of the bag, but always could do better. So I started to think, and you're going to laugh at this now, Robin, he said to me earlier, are you passionate? Right? Because when I look at CVs and somebody says I'm a passionate individual, it makes me cringe. It's like the social media gurus and digital ninjas of this world, or the digital evangelists, right? So from retail grew Construct, grew the Danny's, grew Health, and we're in a lovely position now that I have finally confidently found my niche and what I'm really good at, and I love it, and I genuinely don't feel like I work, because I actually love what I do. And I know that's very cliche, and people always say, oh, like, it took me a long time to appreciate how energetic I am, right? Because I do have a lot of energy, and it sickens people sometimes, right? Because I am just a high energy individual. And I remember speaking to Gavin, he says, I'll speak to you when you calm down. And I remember saying to Gavin, because I was in the hunt for a phone charger in Armagh, and saying, what? I was like, Gavin, this is just me. And that's one of the hardest things that I've had to accept, right? That it's actually okay to be different. It's okay to be energetic, it's okay to be passionate, it's okay to stand out from the crowd. And, you know, I could dye my hair, and I could, you know, try and be all subdued, but it doesn't last very long. I remember being in a meeting with a really good company, a massive global company, and I got in with them because of my connections to Dubai. And they were trying to break into that market. So I was sitting in their office, and I went in a black dress with the collar very long, below the knee, and all very nice and everything else. And I went into this meeting, I sat down, the CEO came in and the head of international business came in. Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you? And I sat there, and they went round the table making introductions, and I hadn't said who I was. And the CEO put his glasses at the end of the nose, and he said, "So Naomh." And one of the guys that headed up I&I at the time in the Middle East, they had this conversation over beers. He says, Barry Clark says, "You're a bloody lunatic." He said, "But you're great at your job." And I remember sitting there thinking, you know what? Maybe it's okay just to be me and accepted for who I am. So this has taken a long kind of time to process this. And when you have gone through everything and lost everything, it makes you very grateful for having the support network that I do have. It makes you very grateful for being able to get up and to give it another go. Because believe me, there's times when I thought, I'm just going to go and get a job and work for somebody else because I can't handle this. But the more that we grow now and the more opportunities that present themselves now, I just take it. Because at the end of the day, what have you got to lose? There's nothing to lose. And that's the thing I always remember. You only fail when you stop trying. And I literally live by this. I will probably be doing something completely different in 2 years from now, definitely in the tech and digital space, but it'll be completely different. But I'm not afraid to change or pivot or go with it, because you have to be adaptable. If you had said to me, and I was quite stubborn at the time when Danny, the advertising network, was going to have to kind of adapt. If you'd have said to me, this business model is going to change, I would have said, no way, it is not. But it totally does. So you kind of have to go with it. And you talk about, you know, having your feet, you know, in the moment. These two are the reason that I do everything. Like, I mean, everything. They are the most honest little people that you will ever meet, right? They will tell you when you're wrong, when you mess up, when you've got bags under your eyes. You know, these two just make it all worthwhile. And I know that's a very female kind of thing to say, but honestly, without these two wee stones, these two wee pillars, I don't think I would do what I do for them. So folks, that is my story to date. Watch this space.